So what is R and how we use R, right? What is mainly why it is so popular now, and all these things. Fine. So yeah, R. I always say that this is like a lot of like a magic, right? Why it's magic? Because in magic you really want to do a lot of thing by your own. You really want to show something really good, which is not really possible, right? With lot many other things, right? With the general process and all. So that's the reason R is kind of a magic, right? So the only thing is that in R, except you have instead of the spells, you have functions. So what does it mean? It means that in R programming, you can use functions in such a way that it will work as a spell for you, which means whatever you want to do, you can do with this. Okay, so this is a kind of magic again when you compare to other different tools which all are there in the market. So it is now how we really deliver this magic, right? How we really go ahead and do this is totally up to how you do it, how you practice it, and how you use different functions and all these things, right? Just give me a minute. আমি চুপ করতে বলেছি না তোদেরকে, কি করলাম না আজকে sorry about it. There was a little bit distraction, some background noise, so I had to step out. Anyway, so this is hard. So let's go ahead. Let's see history of R. Okay, before I'll really talk about history of R, I also want to touch upon some of the other things of R. Like if you see this one, if you can read this one, you'll find that this guy is really waiting to invent a tape recorder or transcript, so that in future someone really can understand or really can know that what they were really talking at that time. So this is what it is. The world will little nor or long remember what we say and do here, unless somebody invent tape recorder and transcripts. What does it mean over here? Which means that we are so dependent on others that we wait for something to be invented, okay, and then we use that for our use. Like if I talk about SAS or SPSS, we depend on the developer. That developer will come up with some different functions and we will use that function, and then we'll go ahead and implement that. R on a R is something different than that, and that lies in the history of R. Why it is different and how it is different, that lies on the entire history of R. Why? Okay, let's go ahead and see the history of R. So R is a dialect of S language. What was S language? S language was developed at Bell Lab in 1976. Okay, so at that time, the SAS was also there. There are other statistical tools were there, but the different scientists were trying to do something new. They really want to implement something very advanced, and they have come up with the S language. In 90s, somewhere around the beginning of 90s, AT&T and Lawson Corporation actually made a S plus based on the S language. Okay, and then they licensed it. And from there, in the 90s, mid of the 90s, two-person, one is Ross Ihaka and the Robert Gentleman. I'll really say this is really a gentleman. Okay, this is his title, the Robert Gentleman, but you know what they have done is tremendous. I'll say this is one of the best thing in kind of analytics. They were from University of Auckland. So in 90s they have developed R, and in late 90s, in 1997, 15 people with a lot of codes they have come upon, and they have developed R for, and they have really given it for free to everyone. Okay, so that you can go ahead and use that. Okay, So this is how the invention about the R, right? What how it has been invented, and nowadays it is so very famous that everyone wants to get a taste of it. So there are a lot of reasons why everyone want to get a taste of it. We'll go ahead and see that. Okay, so let's understand the popularity of R, how popular the R is now. So you can understand there are a lot of other different statistical packages are there in the market, like SAS, IBM, SPSS, then Statistica, RapidMiner, MATLAB, and there are a lot of other things, IBM Cognos, and all of you know that these are the different packages which are developed much before R. I mean, which has come into the picture much before R. And the other part of this statistical package where that this has been marketed a lot. Like if I talk about SAS, if I talk about IBM, because they want to sell it. Okay, R has come very late. So maybe you can say that it is just somewhere around. So the usefulness of R, or the user, most of the user using it from last 7 8 years max. Okay, so other than the different scientists or practitioners, so it is used in the corporate or in consultant, very less, right? After 2000 only they have started it, but you see that how it picked up, right? Picked up the speed. You guys can see that this is now at the very top. So this has been done by Statistica. Okay, this is something called Rexer Analytics Survey. You can search Rexer Analytics Surveys and you'll be able to know that this is there. So what is this? So what there are two questions has been asked during this survey question. Only two questions. First question: what data mining analytic tool did you use in 2010? Right. So there are three options: never, occasionally, or frequent, and they have been given a lot of choices. And then what the other question was, what one data mining software package do you use most frequently? Okay, so they have come up with, and this has been done on a lot of different segments. I mean, a lot of different, like in corporate, consultant, academic, NGO, government, and all. And you can see that R has stopped everywhere, not only in one place. So overall, if we put together primary tool, frequent use, occasional use, everywhere this has come as a top, right? Nowhere you will find that is second. Why? Okay, we'll see that why. Before that, I also want to tell you that why incorporate this R is very famous. R is too famous, or it is really getting popular. So there are two three reasons for that. One, I'll come to this slide once again. Okay, so let's go ahead and see this why it is so famous among practitioner, among corporates, among all other guys. Okay, so first, R is an open source, right? So all of you know that, which means that just we don't have to pay for it, right? Okay, no. Even more, what do you mean by this? Even more, it is not only just the open source kind of thing that you can go ahead and use it. You can do a lot of thing with R. So let's go ahead and see that what we really can do with R. Okay, what is the benefit of R provides, so I'll explain one by one what everything, all the point means. Okay, R provides full access to algorithm and their implementation. So if you use any kind of statistical tool, even if you use Excel, you cannot see the algorithm written, right? So you cannot go ahead and check what are the different algorithm written to get some function. If I talk about a proc reg in SAS, you will never know that what are the different things, what is going behind the scene. Okay, you can only see the proc reg and you can input some of the things and you will get your results. But in R, you can see that, and their implementation also. How does it help all of us? If you see the algorithm, you can change those algorithm according to your use. Okay, and you can develop a new kind of algorithm. So it is not like that. If you want to do something on statistics, if you do something on data mining or do something anything, you don't have to write it from the scratch. You take one algorithm, you take one package, see what has been written, and then you go ahead, and if you really have a programming language understanding, then you can go ahead and change those things, right? uh, Second thing is that gives us more flexibility to bugs and exchange software. So it is exchange software in the sense you can write your own code and you can make it free for everyone, so anyone can use it, right? And that's why R is so famous, because everyone is sharing. Why it's sharing? Because everyone wants the R to be used as a primary tool. Okay, this is a benefit of all of us. Okay, this provide a very big forum. So I don't know that there is any other statistical forum or statistical uh, tools that has so big forum whatever R has. Why R is better again? R is not developed by any developer, okay, and it is not done in very kind of someone actually put themselves in a room for 3 months and they have come up with something by their own. They'll not understand that what are the requirement of the user, because all the time they will not be able to do it, because in like SAS, in SPSS, in Statistica, MATLAB, this is all developed by getting the by their own. But what the better thing about are that this is developed by the expert, by the users only, so you will have everything here. Okay, and that makes it very cutting edge kind of software. Okay, the other good part is that R is, it might be possible that someone is sitting in maybe some other country. So let's talk about Romania. Okay, someone is sitting there and they know a very, so that guy know a really very good programming, and he really can develop something new. But because we might have some restriction, and obviously different statistics tool will not go there and ask for someone else to develop something new, so we will not get the benefit of that particular person has developed. But here the thing is that this R tool can be used anywhere, and the package can be implemented from anywhere, and we can use it from anywhere, any. So it is not like a kind of monopoly from a rich countries, right? Underdeveloped country and developed country can also, developing country can also really do a lot of things with this. Okay, so again I told you about that promotes the reproducible research by providing open and accessible tools and all these things. The most of are written in R, so that's the best part. It is not like that it is hosting on something else, like it is hosting on C++, it is hosting on SQL environment. It is written on R. So if you learn R really well, you will be able to do it. Okay, so the entire thing was that everyone was feeling really free, that they are not bound to anything. The corporates are not bound to paying money, right? They are not dependent on any kind of support. Okay, and everyone in this field really can use it. Now let's go back to this slide and try to understand why it is happening. Let's go back to the slide we left. Okay, this is a slide. So what's the benefit of R now? Why R is getting, why R is becoming so popular nowadays? So we also seen that in corporate, consultant, academic, NGO, everywhere it is really very famous. Why? First thing is that it is free, it has a lot of flexibilities. There are other very subtle point for which it is it is free. You see that if R in academic, you can use R, right? So you can go ahead for your academic use, you use R, and then you come to the job. So you will have a lot of understanding about R in your academics. So obviously the job market will be open for you, because it has been used in academics. And so you will have very good idea about R, and because it is free, a very small startup also can use it. So for India like situation, it is very very useful. So if I talk about different region of India, if I talk about the IT hubs, right? If I talk about Bangalore, if I talk about Mumbai, Pune, Delhi, even in Calcutta, there are a lot of startup companies they are coming up with, right? And they are trying to help different big corporates, different businesses, so that those businesses can really get help of the data, okay, and they really can grow. Now if I have to do it with any other tool like SaaS or SP, the startups don't have so much of money to spend, fine, and obviously then they are going for R. That's number one. Number two, big corporates are also going away from the concept of getting license from everyone. If I talk about my company, in my company SaaS license cannot be given to anyone and everyone, because in my company there are so many employees. If 20,000 SaaS, right, if they have to give 10,000 SaaS license, okay, they have to spend almost 200,000 rupees, I mean 2 lakh rupees per license, and which is huge. So the solution is SaaS can be used by some of the groups, okay, and R can be used by other groups, right, who doesn't really need so much of statistical grinding. If who all are good in programming, they can go ahead and use it. That's the benefit of R, why, and that's the reason why R is getting so very popular, fine. There are many other reasons too. So that's the main point. That's the feeling free. Everyone is feeling free once you heard that. So for us also, for a beginner, for a learner also, you feel free that okay, if I spend some time, this particular software is free for me. I can go ahead and use it according to my choice, right? And there are lot of you just search in Google, and I'm not going to send any link to any one of you. If you really want to do that, search in Google right now. Okay, search R download, go there and download 3.0.1. It will take only 10 minutes to download in your desktop, install in your desktop, and you are ready to go. Just the thing that you have to learn it. That's it. Fine. So let's go ahead and see the R job. So if you see the R job when compared to other different jobs, right? R statistics, SAS statistics. So I'm talking about India only right now. Okay, I'm not even talking about other countries. If SPSS statistics, or even the COBOL is a very basic kind of language, programming kind of language. So when you see a trend, you'll clearly see that R is having the highest step. Okay, this is growing very very fast. So SPSS is nowadays people don't really use it. SAS is obviously they use it, but you can see that 2010-11 R started picking up, right? So you can see the decline in SAS. So it is not, I'm not saying that obviously SAS is also very useful tool, that is also very, but yeah, R is giving a very tough competition to SAS, and many times the companies are asking for SAS as well as R because of this free tool, and because it has a lot of flexibilities. There are a lot of things that we can do that we cannot do in SAS. So that's the reason it is becoming very very famous, okay, and you can see the trend is really very high. So I have searched a lot of job, and I've seen that at least in stats and all, at least they don't mention about R, but they'll mention about the algorithm, they'll mention about the machine learning, they'll mention about some other things, right, which you can relate with R, which required your competency in R. Fine, that's good. So let's move ahead and see what R can do. Okay, why it is famous among the data scientists. Okay. So this person says don't say data scientist one more time, right? So if you say one more time, I dare you. So why? So what's happening right now? Whoever is doing the data analysis, there is a fancy name for that is data scientist. But what data scientists really do? If everyone should really think about the data scientist. They should they should aim in such a way that if you are in analytics world, if you really want to enter into analytics world, you always raise your bar in such a way that you should be a data scientist maybe after some time. So what a data scientist guy really do? So I found it really very well in IV content. IV, so in IV, if you see the entire course, you will find that they have Excel, they have BVA, they have SAS, and all these things. What does it mean? It means that they have access also. So what data scientists really do, they understand the data really very well. They know the data, they know how to process that data, they know how to mold that data, and they know how to really visualize that data and do statistical different statistical apply different statistical method on this data. So this everything, all these things actually data scientists do. And you know that in R you really can do all of this again. Okay, so that's the reason when you will be good in R, in algorithm and all, right, and even in SAS, Excel, and everything put together, then you might call yourself data scientist. So and you really can sell yourself. Okay, you don't need to dare about that, right? You really can sell yourself as a data scientist. Fine. So let's see that what R really can do for us. What the I talked about a lot of things, but you also want to know that what we can do in R, or rather what you can do in R. Okay, so you can do simple arithmetic. It's pretty simple. The concept is pretty simple. You can go ahead and do a pretty simple arithmetic, whatever you want. Okay, any kind of uh, arithmetic operations you can do with an ease. Okay, you can do advanced mathematics. So what do you mean by advanced mathematics? So advanced mathematics means whatever we have learned, maybe uh, you can do integration, you can do log linear model, you can do everything on this, right? So here is one formula which is we generally heard about it, right? This is a log linear formula that we really write, and this formula you can easily convert into a code, and you can use it as a code, right? You see that there is ln, and then you can see j, and the formula is written over here, and you just need to input. So once you write this formula, you have an idea, you want to use this formula, you write this formula and you input j, and you can use it anytime, and even you can share this so that everyone can use it, right? So a lot of probability, permutation, combination, and all this kind of mathematical formula you can write in R. I don't really know that is there any other software which can do. I know that MATLAB can do, but again in MATLAB also you have to write those formula. They have some inbuilt formulas also, and you can go ahead and write those, but you cannot tweak those formulas according to your use. Okay, so this is how you can write your advanced mathematical formulas also over here. Now let's go ahead and see what other things you can do. So the data analysis part. What is the data analysis? I really want to give you a hint about the data analysis, how data analysis happens, right? And beginning of the data analysis and the end of the data analysis, that's very important. So data analysis is nothing but you really play around with the data and come up with something really good, something meaningful, something called actionable insight of the data. So generally when if you've gone for data scientist, right, or if you really want to be a data analyst, what you really want to do, you want to see the raw data. Okay, you go ahead and see the raw data, and you understand that you are master in this particular field. So you see this raw data, you understand the domain, and you understand from where this data is coming. Then you go ahead, and if you don't have a DBA, you can go ahead and write your own code, and you can clean this data. Okay, and once you clean this data can you start summarizing this data. So there is a different what do you call phase of data analysis. So one is called descriptive analytics, right? So, then the predictive, then prescriptive, and then decisive. And these are the four parts of this. So descriptive analytics, you go ahead, clean the data, you get some graph out of it, you get some a very shallow level of analysis on this, and then you go for a predictive analytics, you go predict something out of that. Okay, like you do time series, logistic modeling, clustering, regression. And then you go prescriptive. What is prescriptive? Prescriptive means you go ahead and uh, implement so you have got a lot of results from predictive analytics, and what is good for your company or what is good for your environment or for your client, that is prescriptive. And what is the decisive analytics? Then you involve your client and you involve your business, and then you go ahead and take a decision based on this prescriptive, what is the best scenario that is possible at the point of time when you are taking the decision. So all these things you can do in R. That's the beauty of R. Okay, you don't have to really go to anywhere and really yeah. Obviously in some of the other tools it is good, but if you only have R, you can do everything on this. Okay, so this data analysis, you do general statistical tests like t-test, ANOVA, GLM, chi-square, and all these things. You can do specialized statistical packages there. You can write your package like regression, clustering, igraph, save files, and all these things. So I don't even know that what is save files, but you know that there are so many things it used, right? I have found somewhere around 20-30 more things on it. Okay, what was, I don't know that anytime if you really can go deeper into it, you can go ahead and make use of that if it is really find very, if you really find very useful. You can do simple data visualization without any problem. You can go ahead and write a code, a single code, plot code. You will find your data, right? You'll find the basic plots. What more you can do? You can do data visualization, that is advanced kind of plot you can do also, right? This kind of plot you can generate in R, and it is sometimes very useful. This tree kind of data is this is very useful for decision trines, right? uh, because this give you an idea regarding the entire decision tree, when you can do it in R, and it is not very tough to do. Fine. You can do the other good part is about R is that it is heavily used for text mining. It is heavily used to read uh, the website, right? Website data. Even if you talk about Google, if you talk about Facebook, Amazon, eBay, all of these companies are using R. At least some point of time they use R. Okay, they have their own algorithm, but they also use R to do analysis. So there is a very simple code that you can write. Okay, and you can connect with the website and you can read that entire website, and you gather the data somewhere and you can do a lot of text mining on this. I found it really very useful, right? For a tool like R. Yeah, you can do in Python, you can do in Perl, obviously, but if R is having one particular tool is having that kind of capabilities, then why should we go and learn Python also, learn Perl also? If you're really interested in text mining or something, you can go ahead and do that with R only, right? So what, again, so there's a very long list, right? You can do a lot of thing in R, a lot of thing, right? There is no end of it. It is, and every day it is evolving. Every time a new package is added, every time people are researching on this, people like us only researching on all this, right? So that they can really develop a very strong tool. Fine. So let's see how R looks like. So if any one of you have downloaded or installed during this webinar, you also might start it and you can check it. And if you haven't, then you can see this. Okay, what is a typical R session? R is very simple. You click, R is open. R will open the one window. It is called the console window. Okay, what this console window is, this console window will show you everything. On the left hand side, whatever you see right now is the console window. I mean the left hand side of yourself. Okay, so this is the console window which actually take the existing or new script, and this will be saved. Yeah, obviously you have to save it, otherwise it will never be saved. And on the right hand side there will be editor window. We'll see right now, we will see that. Okay, maybe after this presentation that how it will work. On the right hand side you'll see that editor window. What this editor window actually does, you can write the code on the editor window and then you run it on the console window. This is very important, right? Because you can write your code in console window also, that is possible, but editing in console window is really very tough. You will not be able to do edit a line, right? If you have already make an enter, you cannot edit the previous line. So it is always better that you write in editor window and you run it in console window, right? So what happens, you write the code on editor window, you run it and you check your output in the R window. So and then again, if you find that it is you need to go ahead and change this, then you change it in editor window and then again see. So what the good part about R is that it is very interactive. Whenever you run the code, you'll get the result then and there, and you'll find it here. So if your code is having maybe 2-3 different return value, I mean return value in the sense, if you assign x as maybe some value like 5, 4, 6, and you write x and enter, it will show you 5. Okay, so this is interactive kind of. So every time you enter, it will really throw you some value if you really have entered anything, or if you have done some return kind of thing, I mean return kind of code you have written. I know that this is a bit confusing right now, but this is how it is. So one more thing I want to tell, that R is not a kind of GUI kind of thing. Yeah, obviously it's a GUI in the sense some of the part is the GUI. You can go ahead and see the packages, you can edit and all these things. So GUI is graphic user interface. It is somewhere in between GUI and the script writing kind of thing. Okay, yeah. So I always prefer the script writing because that gives me a lot of confidence about what I am doing, rather than even when I use the SAS EG. Okay, SAS EG 5.1, I write the code. I generally don't use the GUI, and I've seen a lot of guys, they really don't want to, because we need to change a lot of things within the code so that we can get the result really very fast, and we can get our result according to ourselves. Because I'll give you one example. In SAS also, if you run a simple logistic regression, right, or maybe regression, if SAS EG and you will get a 15 page of report. Obviously you don't want 15 page of report. Why? What will do with the 15 page of report? So we tweak our code. So that's the reason it is always better that you write a code. So I found it very uh, comfortable when I have seen that R is not so much of GUI, more of a script kind of thing. Fine. So this is what it is. I'll before we'll end this, I'll really tell you something. R is at the beginning, you will find it is it is little bit tough. Fine. uh, I'm sorry. You will find R is little bit kind of tough. So I always say that it is like a smoking habit kind of thing, right? When you start, you really get headache, you really gag 2-3 times. Okay, and but once you start it, okay, it is pleasurable and it is very addictive, right? You cannot get away. Every day you want to start R, but beginning it will be a little bumpy maybe, but then it will be so smooth that you'll enjoy this ride. Okay, yeah, one more caution: it is not injurious to health like smoking. Fine. So I would say that unless you're power with R, go ahead and see what R really can do for you guys. Fine. So now I'll switch the window and I will show you two, three simple example in R so that you will also have some good idea that what R really can do for you. Yeah. Any question? I can take few questions as well as I can open the R
Samit, let's
session.
see the let's see the code and then we'll take the question at the end.
Great. Fine. So I'll just have some codes here. Okay. So there are two windows I talked about. So when you open R, you will find this. You'll not find this particular window. You will not find this particular window. You will always see this console. So what do you need to do? You have to go here and you have to open a new script, and then you can write the script over here. Because of the paucity of time, I'm not uh, writing this code. I have some code written so that I can explain what is happening over here. So there are some codes. This can give you some idea regarding what this really can do. uh, okay. So this is what it is. You'll find that save as whatever you see in any other kind of packages. Okay, other kind of tools you see. uh, there are load package and all these things will be there. Okay. There is a help is very important in R, because once you whenever you face any problem, go ahead and search for help. That is very useful. I have found it very useful, because some of the things I have not been able to do. Because what happens in R, you'll find that I'll just show you something over here. mm, you'll find this is a linear modeling. So I told you guys earlier that in R what will happen, you can see the algorithms. Fine. You can see the algorithms, you can see that what it is doing. So this is the log linear model, sorry, this is the linear model. And you can see what it is doing actually. So you can see the formula, you can see that you have to input the formula for how you want this formula, what is the response variable you want. And you can see the data, you can input the data, you can input the subset, you can input the weights, and all these things you can input. Why
So,
it is.
Samit, sorry to
Yeah.
disturb.
Yeah.
Uh, Actually, you'll have to increase the screen size or resolution probably, or probably reduce the size of the screen. In the sense, the left screen is going out of the viewing angle. So just
Oh,
bring
okay,
it
okay,
on the right. Yeah,
okay, I'll do that. Let me know if it is fine now.
yeah, it is. Can you? Is there a process to increase the font size, or is it possible?
Yeah, I don't know. I've never used it anyway.
Okay, no problem. No
Yeah,
problem.
yeah. I think it should be. Wait a minute. I'll
Yeah,
see
it's
that.
better.
Wait a minute. I'll see that. View toolbar. I've never used it or never used. Anyway, uh,
No problem.
so if you want, I can paste it in any Word or some document, and I can show that. Is it good
Yeah,
or
that
is?
if you could do that, because it's a little small.
Okay, fine. I'll do that. So what I'll do in this, in the PPT only, because otherwise I have to share another one. Sorry, this is not the case. Yeah, let me know if it is fine.
No, we can't see anything.
Okay. I need to share it. I need to share it. I'll have to switch the window. I need to see it. Okay, okay, fine. Now you can see it, I believe. You can see, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what I have written there. This is ARGS, that is argument of linear model. Once you write it, it will throw you this particular thing. So you remember I talked about the algorithm. You can see the algorithm. Okay, this is the beauty of R. Now, if you can see the algorithm, you can see what function it is using, how this has been used. You can go ahead, check this formula. You can see that there is a data, there is a subset, there is a weight. You can NA action is nothing but any kind of missing value if you want to treat within that. Okay, and all these things you can. So you will find so many things over here that you need sometimes help, right? You want to implement something. So I was talking about help menu. So you go ahead and check that in LM what is na dot action is doing, what is a different method QR method is doing. And sometimes we are also not really bothered about all this, because we thought that okay fine, it gives us giving us the result, but sometimes we also need that. We want to change it, right? We want to change the result in a we want to see the result in a different way. We can do it by seeing this. We can write a function like this after seeing this, and then we can implement. And one more time, this is not only about writing this formula like this. You know that if you really want to write a new formula, you can write it in this way. Okay, so let's call it my function. Fine, I'll just show you, so don't really go around with this. So I'll just show you that how sometimes how easy it is to write a formula. So you write a function. I'll explain that, just be with me. And maybe I want this method to be something different in a dot action, and then I'm writing method equal to, I don't know what are the different methods are there, so like this, and then I close this one. Fine. Yeah, so I'm here, what I'm doing here, I'm writing a function called my function. Fine. And what this function will do, this function will take the lm function. So whatever the lm function is there, it will take the lm function from there, and you will see that formula data subset weight na method are right, I'm writing. And for all other things, all, so I've changed the sr only, qr to sr, and all other thing I've just write three dots. I'm sorry, this will be three dots, dot dot dot, and it will take everything automatically. You don't have to write the entire formula. If you want to change the first two things and if you want to keep the other few intact, you just have to write dot dot dot, and it will take everything accordingly. Fine, so this is the flexibility I was talking about, that you can view the algorithm and you can implement your own code. And the this is the flexibility around R. But I don't think that any other tool is having that kind of flexibility. Fine, so let's go back to R and check this again. I think now I cannot do everything on maybe in PPT, so you guys have to bear with me. Can you see this?
No, we can't.
You can't, okay? Let me do it once again. Let me see it once again. Yeah, just let me know that if you can see it.
Yes.
Okay, so now I'm going to show you guys some of the things. Like I want to go to show that I will import a table from my desktop, from my system. Okay, this is a CSV file that I'm going to import, and what I'm doing over here, this is the file location, that c.user.samitkumargurai.desktop computing data analysis, and you'll find directory, and there is a file called hw1 underscore data csv. So I'm going to import this particular table into R. Okay, and I'm assigning this entire table, this is called data frame, I'm assigning this to x, one variable called x, I'm assigning it here. Fine, so let's do it. So I'm selecting here and I'm running this. You can see in the console window you will find the same code. Can you see it on red? I believe you can see this.
Yes.
Okay, and now see what are the things are there in the x. So let's write x in the console window. So you can write in the console window also x and check it. Now you can see a data frame, I mean I mean a table. So this is called data frame in R. So we have 1 2 3 4 5 6. So ozone, solar dot R, wind, temperature, month, day, all these columns are there, and there are 153 rows are here. Okay, so this is how you import it. Now what I'm gonna do, so there are a lot of na means this is a missing value, so we can remove this missing value with only one statement. Fine, let's see how it happens. So this is why there is a something called complete case x. So x is, what is x? X is this data frame, right? And we have assigned this data frame on a variable called x. So what I'm doing, I'm doing a complete case, complete dot case. This complete dot case remove all the missing value in the data. Okay, and then I'm assigning this to y. Fine, so let's see what happens. So I'm running it. So we have got y assigned to complete dot cases and x, and let's see if we try to see y what it is. So this is a true false true false true false. So this is a binary variable. This is a true false true false true false. So what does it really, what it is doing? Each of this data point it is taking and seeing that whether it is na or what is, whether it is missing or not. Fine, if it is false, then obviously it is missing. Okay, but now I don't want this, I want a table which will not have any kind of missing values. So what I'm doing here, I'm taking, this is, I'm running the third code now. You'll find I'm assigning z and and a matrix kind of thing of x in z. Fine, so I'm doing it in this way. So now I've run it. So I have z, and then I'm printing z. I know this is a bit complicated, I know, not very complicated, but you know that you will be able to do it very easily, even better than any other tool. So now you see that in this z you don't have any kind of missing value. So this is so easy, with two step only you can do it. Got it? So now z is the data without any missing value. So wherever there is a missing value, this has deleted the entire row. If you don't want to do it, if you really want to do put an average of that, we can do that. So sometimes we don't want to delete the missing value, what we really want to replace the missing value with some of the data, so you can write a code and you can do that. Fine, so let's do some small statistical things on this. So plotting the data and all these things. So let's do a summary of z. What this summary of z will do, the summary of z will give you, so easy, you can see that I've just written summary of z. So for each of the column this has given everything. For ozone this has given a minimum is 1, first quartile is 18. For ozone column, median is 31, mean is 42.1, third quartile is 60.0, max is 168. And for all of this has given Okay, you just need to write summary of Z. So let's do something else. We want to know that what is the 25th percentile of the maybe some of the column. Okay, before we go ahead, let's see. I also want to do something here. uh, let's say that we want to see that so you have this particular table, and in this table you have some columns called, one is ozone, another one is temperature. So we want to see only those data where ozone is more than 31 and temperature is more than 90. How we gonna do it? So we just need to run this code. Obviously this code is like, what this code is doing on Z, it is for the, because now all our data is in Z, all the clean data is in Z. If you remember, I have done it x y z, right? I have done a vectorized processing of this data, and what it is doing, the Z, I want the first column, the ozone column of Z more than 31, and temperature column of Z more than 90, and I want to assign this data in another variable called M. Fine. So let's run it and let's see what aim is actually. So I am writing what aim is. So you'll find that this is the M data set. So in the M data set you'll find that all the data is more than 31 ozone data, and all the temperature data is more than 90. So you can filter data in this way also. Okay, so let's see on Z what we want to do. So we want to apply kind of we want to know the percentile on this. Okay, quantile we call percentile, 25th percentile on this. So what we can do, so once you apply this, okay, this is a function called apply. I'll tell you about this maybe. Okay, if you, what does apply do? So we have do while loop everywhere. In the SAS you have do while loop. Uh, in VBA you have do while loop. In any other any other place you'll find do while loop. You know that here you do while loop, even you can ignore the do while loop, even you can ignore the for loop by this kind of function. It will take automatically one by one, one by one, one by one. Okay, it is not that you don't need to write if I is equal to 1 and 2, then I is equal to 100, till then you loop it. My first, it will take the first value, then second value, then third value, then fourth, till 100 value. It will not do that. What it will do, you can write that kind of code over here, but with a simple code called T apply, L apply, S apply, apply, you can do it very easily. You apply and it will take it automatically. Okay, so you can see that it has taken the first ozone, and then it has taken solar. For each of this has given us the 25th percentile. Fine. On the box plot, let's do a box plot of Z. So let's do a block box. So what I've done, there is a box plot Z, only this is there. Box plot, this is the box plot. It will do the box plot for everyone. You'll find the different outliers from this box plot. You can do outlier treatment on this. You click on this, it will give you the box plot for ozone, for solar. It will give you whisker, median, everything is there. You can check it. Fine. Even you can write a code by which it will give you the values, right? You have a graph, and you don't have a value on each of this, maybe median and all. If you want, you can really create a function which will give you the values also. Fine. Let's plot one thing. Let's plot a ozone. So there is a plot graph only, right? You need to write plot ozone. So ozone is a okay. One more thing, R is totally case sensitive, entirely case sensitive. You see, when I am writing ozone O is in capital, so I have to write O in capital. So this plot I am doing on ozone, this will give me an scatter plot. I'm sorry. The thing is that there is something called attach. We need to write attach. Attach it. Yeah. So what I have done, I need to attach Z, means on which data so there might be a lot of data. There is a X, right? You have seen that X. There is another data M. I mean another variable which is holding the data, filtered data. There is another variable holding Z. So I need to attach it first, that on which data I want different plots. So I have attached Z, and that on that Z, on the ozone column, I want the plots. Okay, this is the scatter plot. This is give you the index of the scatter plot: 1 2 3 4 5 6. I mean the first row, second row, third row, fourth row, and on the column you will find the value of the ozone. So you will find the scatter plot of the ozone, right? So you can see that, right, how it is spread over the entire data set in the ozone. You can also do, now I have attached once, so for another operation I don't need to attach again. I can do a histogram on this. So this is the histogram. So this is a histogram of the ozone. So this is ozone and the frequency of ozone. Fine. So these are the things that we can do in R very easily, which otherwise is a bit difficult in sometimes. The only thing is that again I told you guys that at the beginning the ride will be a bit bumpy, but believe me, once you are really okay with it, once it is in your yeah, once you catch hold of this is entirely addictive and pleasurable. Fine, this,
Samit,
yeah,
quick, a few questions are here.
yeah,
So I'm going to take only a few questions.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the first question is whether we can create GUI kind of stuff using R.
GUI kind of stuff using R. I didn't get the question.
So the question is, say for example, using Java, you can create those, user interfaces, right? Like forms and all. So the question is, yeah, the
You
question
can
is,
do that. You can do that. You can even create the web graphics and all these things. Okay, but again, I want to know that what is the use for this? How
yeah,
we gonna
because
use it?
yeah, because traditionally R is used for statistical analysis or data analysis. So the
Yeah,
question,
yeah.
yeah. So the point is, I mean, suppose if you want to make the charts interactive with a little bit of forms and all, a little bit of options there.
Okay, you want to put some option there in the chart, and that will throw you something.
Yeah.
Okay, you can do that, but only problem with the R is that they don't have a common server. Okay,
Okay.
for that you have to maybe the guy who is using R, who is using those data, the user also should install R. Okay,
Okay.
then we can do it.
I see.
But this is pretty advanced, right? Pretty advanced, because this is not really used for R. But you can do that because you can do the web graphics also in R.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Yeah.
More questions? Yeah.
If we want to know some major limitations of a company choosing SAS over R or R over SAS, what should be that? Major
Uh,
limitations. I mean,
So the
okay,
question is
I
basically
got it.
straightforward. The difference between SAS and R, and why should one company choose one over the other?
Right. So I'll give you two example. Okay, and with this two example, it will be pretty clear. So when if R is so easy to use, it is free, then why not each and every company is going for R? First of all, R using R is not so easy. You'll not find a lot of guys who all are using R, because the R is quite R having a quite steep learning curve. So R professional is very less in the market. That's number one. Okay, finding someone in R is tough. Number two, R use your own space. I mean your system memory only. It is not. It generally doesn't use any kind of server. So when you are trying to handling big data, like if you want to handle 50 TB of data, okay, 60 TB of data, 100 TB of data, then it will be bit difficult. But in big data platform they are implementing R, so we can use it, but that is also required some investment because big data is not a free thing. Okay, that required a lot of investment. So that part is there. Okay, third is that the big corporates thinks that R is kind of not so secure. SAS is having more secure. They can secure the data. Maybe this is a misconception. This is a myth. And that's another reason why they really don't, because it's open source, and if it is, because it is open source, they think that it is not so secure, right? This is three things. Why someone will choose SAS, that I told you. Now why someone will choose R, there are many reasons for this. If you don't have money to spend. Okay, if you want to do a small kind of environment, if you want to do analysis on a small kind of environment, if you want to do text mining, okay, if you want to tweak your queries, if you want to go ahead and implement a lot of complex queries, if you have data scientists ready who really can write anything in R, you can go ahead and do that. If you want to web crawl, okay, and many more things that SAS cannot do, right, where R can do. But obviously both are having their own uh, own benefit as well as own disadvantage. uh, so I would say that if someone really know SAS and know R so I'm thinking on this perspective, because we are not really worried about which company will use what. Okay, some company will use R, some company will use SAS, and we'll see that what the top different statistical software right now is used in different companies. SAS, R, SAS, Statistica, MATLAB. MATLAB is more Statistica, and MATLAB more of an engineering kind of environment they use. SPSS again is phasing out, right? SPSS is mainly used in educational background. So top thing that I see, that SAS and R. So if you know both these things, maybe, right, then you are good to go in any companies. Don't bother about which company using what. Am I able to answer the question or not? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah, fine.
I have one question. My name is
Yeah,
Ashish.
yes, mate.
Uh, my question is here I have to write the code on my own. So if I don't have much knowledge in programming languages, is it difficult for me to work in R?
It will be a bit difficult, but it is not very tough, I'll tell you. If you know the concept, it will not be very tough. So I told at the beginning also that the learning curve in R is a bit steep, but believe me, at the beginning you will find. So it's very simple. I have written a code called complete dot cases x. So we don't also remember all these things. We Google and we find out. But we need to know that there is a way of doing it. Rather than writing a code, there is a way, there is a package of doing it. Okay, who has done it? So you can use those shortcuts and do it. But I will tell that you need programming knowledge a little bit at least. At least you know that what a do while loop can do. Okay, at least you know that how we can assign a particular variable, a particular data into a variable, and then how we really can get extract the subset out of it. So this and in R it is quite simple. If you go for Perl, Python and all these things, it is quite difficult, but in R it is quite simple. So if you're really not good in programming language, you spend some time, and I'm telling you, this is worth spending time, right? You will learn a lot of things, and you can do a lot of things on this, but
Okay,
a
thanks.
little bit your, yeah, it's required, yeah. Fine, is there any other question? Aditya, Pratik, anyone is there? I think
Samit,
is
can
it,
you hear
yeah,
us?
yeah, 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 I think it was
Yeah.
mute.
Yeah, sorry. So, Samit, one question was here from the class.
Mm-hmm.
Data. My question is that without a database, you won't be able to fetch the data. For example, if you have to create charts and all, you need a data set, na? So
Yeah,
where will you able to fetch the data? For example, if you are keeping physical data, let's say 60 TB and so much, it will take a lot of time.
yeah, that's the reason I told that in R it is not possible,
Okay.
right? So 60 TB, so where you will fetch the data, R have the capability to connect with any kind of database. You can fetch the data from there.
But
So
then the I mean, R has to be on the same platform where the database is.
okay, I'll tell you. So what will happen, right? Generally are used as a standalone kind of thing, but if you really, so that's why corporates, big corporates are not really keen of using R, because R is an open source which is connecting to the database, right? Which can be a threat for them. So what will happen, you connect with the database, you write a code in R, but the only thing is that if you write the code in R, that code is not running on R, right? This will run on that particular database and fetch the data from there. Are you getting me? Any, I believe some of you have used database at some point of time,
Right,
Teradata, right?
right,
So
right.
if for an example, if you write a, for when you connect SAS with the Teradata, what does it really do? SAS, you write a code on the SAS, but where this particular code actually runs in Teradata only, and running the data, whatever it will take time, it will take. That you can do with R, that's not a problem. You really can go ahead and connect with the database and you can do it. So it is not like that you always have to keep a local copy of that, but yes, you should have that kind of permission with R.
One more question, Samit.
Yeah.
Yes, I mean, it's related to the previous question. Is it that we are integrating R with other tools, say database or any other statistical tool?
We are not integrating. I don't know about other companies and all, but mine is a very big corporate and they are against using R for any kind of database. But we actually, I don't know that any practitioner really trying to do it. But I know that they are trying to implement this R environment in Hadoop. Okay.
Okay.
So what will happen if there are a lot of other companies are doing it, they are implementing this on Hadoop big data environment, and if you can implement that properly, then that can make wonders. But
So,
yeah.
so what's, I mean, as of now, what is the best practice? Say, I mean, how we can get a database? I mean, is that we need to import this CSV again and again, or rather open the file from?
For no, many small companies, what they really can do, they connect with the database like SQL database, they connect it and then run it, they do it.
So that
Okay,
means we are
but
integrating.
yeah, so what we need to do, if you anything you want to run on R, you have to create a local copy. So maybe on SQL you run all your SQL kind of code, and when the view is ready in SQL, you can go ahead and fetch that code from there and run in R. I mean, fetch that view from there and run in R.
A couple of questions are there in the chat window. One question is, how do you save the output from R?
You have output options, right? You can save in PDF, you can save in Excel, CSV, any kind of export. Whatever we do in export, like import we do, we will do the export in a similar way.
Okay. And one more question is there on the chat. I do not have background of math or stat, but can I join any company after learning R or SAS as SAS programmer or R programmer?
So I want to know that. Okay, first of all, R programmer is bit tough thing, right? An analyst, so R programmer will be you will not be able to join as a R programmer. That is absolutely make sure about it, right? You can do join as a data analyst. Okay, You have a grasp of data, you will go ahead, you understand data, you can write code on R to do data analysis, and you can go ahead and crack that job. But no one is really looking for a R programmer, believe me, no one. Okay, and it is only on the development side they are only looking for.
Okay.
That's number
And
one.
Samit,
Yeah.
any other? No. All right. Good. Samit, since the time is over, it's
Yeah.
14 minutes over. It was an excellent session, Samit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks a lot, and thanks everyone for joining it online as well. Uh, should you have any more questions, you can always drop an email to us, info@ivproschool.com, and we will respond with the answers. Thank you, Samit. Thank you again.
Thanks, my pleasure,
Thank you for
my
joining
pleasure.
it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you,
thanks a
everyone.
lot.
Bye.
Yeah, bye.